Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to RB Hardware. Now, if you've been interested in upgrading your current computer or looking to buy a new gaming PC, I actually got some good news for you. Recently, we have seen massive GPU restocks. Prices are finally starting to drop on several GPUs, and frankly, right now is actually the best time to purchase a brand new GPU if you know what to look for. Now, graphics card shortage has been plaguing the PC industry for a long time, forcing gamers to either wait to upgrade their current system or ultimately try their luck on the used market. However, most people are more interested picking up a new GPU than buying a used one, and so in today's video we're gonna take a look at the best graphics card deals for gaming in 2022, and I'm going to present to you the best buy restock GPU right now based on latest pricing and price drops. All graphics cards mentioned can be found down below in the video description, and with that said, let's get started. Now, before looking at what GPUs are worth considering right now, we need to first determine one thing: the MSRP. And to do that, we can simply just jump over to Google and put in the graphics card name followed by MSRP. Now, to save you guys a bit of time, I've already done that. Also, I want to highlight an article TechSpot made that covers the current GPU situation on a deeper level. Highly recommend giving this a read to get a better sense of the current situation. Anyway, currently as it stands, Radeon-based GPUs have dropped in price a lot. However, not the entire 6 series GPUs or cards are deals worth considering. Basically, you can say that there are 3 GPUs that have enjoyed significant price drop: the 6600, the 6700 XT, and potentially the 6500 XT. Currently, the entry-level RX 6500 XT can be found just above MSRP, and this card is targeting 1080p at medium settings. The 6600 XT is another card that has seen a huge price drop since launch and can right now be found just $70 above its launch price. So this graphics card has effectively dropped over $350 from its peak price in late last year. This GPU is targeting 1080p at max settings and competitive gaming at high frame rate, but thanks to strong performance and lots of VRAM, it can do 2K or 1440p quite well. Also, finally, we have the 6700 XT, and this is also an interesting story. This card went from $1,400 down to now $600. Pretty insane. Now, although this sounds like a massive price drop and potentially now a very good deal, keep in mind guys, this card still has an MSRP of $479, meaning right now selling for about $120 more than it actually should. Nevertheless, this is an interesting GPU and probably your best pick if you're looking for a card specifically for higher resolutions, 2K, and potentially 4K as well. And speaking of which, let's take a look at the performance, and I want to briefly touch on the 6500 XT before jumping over to the 6600 and the 6700 XT. Now, the thing with the 6500 XT is that it's a pretty disappointing GPU with lots of features either crippled or completely missing compared to other similarly priced GPUs. Now, although I don't hate this graphics card, I do think there are greater and better options out there, like a used GTX 1660 Super, for example, which is performing quite similar. However, if you do want the fresh smell of new technology for $230, this is your best bet. Now, let's move on to the 6600, which I do personally think is a very good and solid graphics card, and as we can see, it does very well in most games, both in 1080p and 1440p. The 6600 launched at $330, and the direct competitor in the $330 category is the RTX 3060. So I think it's interesting taking a deeper look at these two side by side, and performance wise, for the most part, the RTX 3060 is a bit faster, mostly due to DLSS and stronger ray tracing performance. However, the RTX 3060 has yet to enjoy any significant price drop, so yeah, it's currently not a card you want to invest in, at least not right now. So as it stands right now, you definitely want to pick up the 6600. Now before we take a look at what kind of deal that can be made from Nvidia, let's also look at the RX 6700 XT as well. So what can you really expect from this $600 beast? Well, the 6700 XT does 1440p with smooth framerate, but can obviously also handle 4K pretty good if you scale down the level of details a bit. Right now it can be found for about $600, and that is the lowest price it has never seen since its release. The closest competitor in terms of current pricing is the RTX 3060 Ti. Now performance wise, the 3060 Ti does fairly well versus the 6700 XT, which makes the decision between the two a bit more complicated. Now if you heavily care about ray tracing and want access to DLSS, pick Nvidia. However, if you have already picked up a 5th-gen Ryzen CPU, you want to consider the 6700 XT, as you can activate something called Smart Access Memory or SAM and ultimately unlock more framerate for free. Nevertheless, the 6700 XT has seen a nice price drop while the 3060 Ti hasn't, so yeah, definitely keep that in mind guys. But let's dive a bit deeper into the Nvidia lineup of cards a bit more. Are there any great Nvidia deals that can be made right now? Well, as for the most part, most GPUs are still quite inflated in terms of pricing. There are some models from the 30 series, such as the 3080 Ti, which is now only about $200 more compared to when it launched. But the thing is, not that many people would be interested in spending $1,200 on a GPU. Looking at the mid-range, we find that most of these GPUs are still between 50 to 60% above its MSRP. So really, yeah, no deal to be made here unfortunately. However, if we take a look at the RTX 20 series and the 16 series cards, things are starting to look a bit brighter, with the RTX 2060 only about $70 over MSRP. Even the RTX 2070 can be found very close to its original pricing. The 1660 Super can also be an option worth considering if you want a $300 1080p and 2K compatible GPU from Nvidia. Just keep in mind guys that you can get the RX 6600 for $100 more, which is about 20 to 30% faster. Now you might be asking, why even consider a last gen GPU? Well, it turns out that some of these older GPUs, such as the RTX 2060 for example, is still a very compelling GPU in 2022, and I actually done some extensive testing on this particular GPU, and I found it to be quite powerful at both 1080p and 2K resolution even in 2022, much thanks to technologies such as DLSS support, which yep, a lot of games now finally supports. Now this can boost the framerate quite significantly without any major downgrade to the gaming performance. For example, when activated in Control, we can actually give the RX 6600 a solid battle. Quite interesting knowing that the 6600 is a newer and a more powerful GPU in terms of raw performance. And overall, the 2060 can handle most games with respectable framerate, no doubt. Finally guys, if you do have a very strict and limited budget, you may actually want to consider this APU from AMD. This is the Ryzen 5 5600G, and it's a pretty powerful little beast that packs both a 6-core 12-thread Zen 3 based Ryzen CPU and a built-in Vega 7 graphics, all for just $210. In terms of performance, the Vega 7 is capable of running most esport games at 1080p low settings with frame rate above 60 FPS. For more demanding games, I recommend dropping the resolution down to 900p, and then you can run most games at pretty good results. Now, I want to stress guys that by no means should this solution be considered a high-end gaming setup. However, if you do have a very limited budget, the 5600G can definitely be a great option, and it can even work as a stopgap until GPU pricing stop acting silly and goes back to normal again. For any questions guys, feel free to leave them down below. I will be back with a brand new video in just a few days. All GPUs mentioned are linked up down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.